Hello traders, and welcome to the first bear market Bitcoin morning update. Yeah, not seriously, but this is pretty nasty right now, the price action. And yeah, it's again, we just have to be looking at this level by level and keep an open mind as to what is going on here. It doesn't look very good. So I think for me personally, this 42k area was the level that would have held if I was kind of building swing position looking back to all-time high. That's like what you would normally expect. We had a lot of support there. We had clearly this old wick, which if we go off of previous cycles, and I keep saying like the only history you can go off to predict what could happen next is what has happened previously. So far during this whole bull run, it's been quite predictable, the movements. And at this point, this moved down. If we had bounced here and got a good bounce here, that would have been a predictable area for it to bounce. Now, what has happened since then? We've obviously lost this level and we're still within an area of support, but I do believe now that 42k will become a major resistance. After losing that, I think there was a big fight going on here, and if we do come back to test it, there'll be a lot of money here just wanting to get out break even within this area. So now our previous all-time high, which was at 42,097 on Bybit at least, but around the 42k area, I do think is going to be major resistance on the chart. And what I would need to see now to become bullish again is for that to be claimed and to hold pretty decently. That's the only way that I will turn back into a Bitcoin bull again, is a sign of strength. Now, this would have been the area to get that nice bounce underway, and it hasn't happened. But yeah, so I am in a long. So just so everyone is aware, I have got a long position from down at these lows, and I was building it at these lows, so it's not really that bad. There's no leverage on this, and I still do have more US dollars because I was selling all of these peaks. Luckily, well, not luckily, I was selling all these peaks because I know kind of how exhausted this was getting, this move up. So I do still have dollars available to buy if this goes lower. But really what we could be seeing here is a bit more of a prolonged move down. Like, this was a very long range, and this, unless it gets reclaimed quickly, is a decisive break of this range, and we are now back within here. So this was really the first like mini correction that we had. There's a little bit of support in this area, and then below there's nothing back until like 20k again. So yeah, I still believe that this is okay. So down to 38k I was happy to scale in all the way down to 38k, and that is what I've done. And yeah, we'll see how this progresses now. The chances are, for me, my entry now is slightly below this 42k area, just because I've been able to add a little bit on here, because I do have some I do have a little bit of what would you say, just a little bit of like cash available, just to buy up down here. I haven't kind of spent it all and gone in on leverage up in this area. And I think I'll probably just de-risk a little bit if we do come back up to this previous all-time high area. Then if we see a sign of strength, that's when we can start looking higher. But yeah, just that's kind of my overall sentiment on the chart is, yeah, we're at support. We're at very important support still, but now just how far down this has gone, I don't like that this has lost the 42k area so much, and we're still not seeing any volume. So That for me, the fact that we're still not really seeing much volume means that we could possibly be going down a little bit more. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. So technical levels. Let's first of all look. Let's look to the upside. So let's say if this is the low, technical levels of resistance we have are 42k. That is going to be big. Then we will have, if we do start to break this trend line, so at this point, really, if we can reclaim 42k, it looks like the downtrend will be out because it's going to take us a while to get there. So if we can do something like this and just kind of break out of here, then we've had this other attempt at like a bump and run here. So this would be the bump, and then we can run from this point. So resistance, next point of resistance would be this weekly, which has held as resistance through this whole thing. So we keep dropping down a level and not being able to reclaim anything at the moment. So clearly this weekly would be an area of resistance. We then have the golden pocket up here, which would be around these highs, and then we're looking at points of control of the range again and things higher up. So a lot of resistance to be working with on the way back up. That would actually be quite nice to trade. This has given us a lot of information back to the upside that is tradable. So if we do reverse here, then nice trading in the not so kind of distant future. Yeah, we'd just have to take it level by level there. So my swing long for all-time high would have been at 42k. Now my bias has gone more towards I don't know, yeah, level by level again, and we'll see how things go. This is now must be around 40% correction by now. Yes, we've hit that 40% correction. Again, previous history, that tended to be enough, but what we haven't seen, which we usually did see on any kind of bull market correction, was a big increase in volume and a quick recovery upwards. Now this is taking a lot more money to push things down, and then it will take a lot more money to push things up, but that's kind of where we're at, is that yeah, we've got to wait for some strength now to see what could happen next. Okay, we have a naked point of control, so if we do come down a little bit lower, then at 37,575 there is a daily naked point of control there, and then that completely like nullifies this whole breakout candle and hits the previous day's point of control from when we did break out of this last range. So this will be hitting like this point of control down here. We've filled all the inefficiencies on the chart. We are into an area of support. We are back to the top of the crazy Tesla candle, and yeah, so we do have that support there. We also will have the kind of the overall support within this range. So yeah, that 34k area will be a big area of support. There's our point of control of this range here. If we do continue downwards any further, and then what else do we have? Let's move that up there. So actually our range point of control comes in really quite nicely. So I think this is still the point of control up here. So let's take it from our first high and go over. Let's see where that comes in. That's a little bit higher, but then if we take the range, so now if we're thinking of this as like a larger range with that first breakout candle. Okay. Why is my range point of control over there then? So let's have a look. So from an all-time high down to where we are now, we have basically just this big area that will be massive resistance if we were to get back up there. And yeah, we'll again level by level see what happens. Cool. Let's have a quick look at CME. So gap. This here wasn't really, you got this little gap thing here, but this was, yeah, you could say this was, a lot of these gaps on the chart are more like have been partially filled already, so I'm not too I'm not looking at them too much. But you could say a little inefficiency within the CME chart here at $38,000, 3855. We do have this gap up here, but again, this has had the wicks down that we've had previously. It's not really that important of a gap. Like we've kind of filled the area. And the same with this one, is we do have this gap at the top here, but we've had that partial fill of this one as well. So really, like, there are gaps above, but they're not massively important. We've had partial fills. We've had, this one isn't really a gap either. The only gap that we've not had like any kind of fill on is this one down at 23k. So that was like the breakaway gap, but that's the big one to look at the moment if we do go for a longer bear market kind of thing here, which at that point would give us, what's that, 65% to the downside. So yeah, if this does go on for a bit longer, then you got to be aware of those. Let me have a look at Coinbase. So if we're going, no, let's go earlier. What has earlier stuff? Bitstamp. Bitstamp has the previous cycle as well. Cool. So if we're going from previous history, this is the kind of thing I was talking about with the correction that we're having now, is that previously we've had these big moves down to just into previous support, here just into previous support, and we've had a very quick recovery. That hasn't happened on this occasion. So what we've seen this time is more of a brrr, and now we're down here, which obviously isn't very good. Yeah, so that kind of throws out the theory of these corrections. Like, what we're seeing has been much longer anyway. These were pretty quick in the scheme of things of what's going on now. But what could be the other thing that we're seeing potentially playing out is something like this double peak cycle. Now this is really, really early back in Bitcoin's history, but what we did see is within 1 year we did see two big peaks, and that was really like, this is almost like what we've seen so far, is just a massive move up, going much higher than you would expect, and then a big correction, and then another massive move up. So with this, we did see let's take it from there. There was a 75% correction in the middle of that, forgetting all of this choppiness, and then that would have led to a larger correction later on. So yeah, looking at that fractal idea, that's obviously now invalidated. So that again is why I was looking at the 42k area as being an important area to hold. We are now below this channel, so that is again that's why 42 should have held. So this is now invalidated. If we take the ABCD correction, we're still okay for that, so that's okay. We can leave this here. We can say if we regain the channel, then that's fine. We're within reasonable areas for this to be an ABCD corrective move. So we've hit the 1.618 and a bit lower than that. So okay with that as an idea. We also have larger harmonics in play going on now as well. So what we can probably do now is go from our, take this down. This will be, we could look at 786 maybe, and then we could be looking at a bigger something like, maybe even we just go, I don't know, 786, 786, something along those lines, and then we maybe come down to fill the gap, the CME gap, and hit our previous all-time high, like the last bull run thing over there. And then this would be like that double cycle kind of idea going on. Or we could be yeah, there's other things in play here. So we also have oh, why am I doing that? That's sort of clearly not going to be right. Yeah, just looking at the chart, what other things could be going on with this? Do we have any other things that I could be looking at? Probably not. Anyway, that's that. Yeah, so we'll see how things go. This is just a lot of rambling on this morning. Again, let's have let's have a look at Ethereum. So here comes Ethereum. This is where I think I would like to see Ethereum going to. So if we can get 2,500 on Ethereum, that would be amazing. And that's basically what I was, yeah, when we were up here, that's where I sold Ethereum. So I'm happy with Ethereum. I'm glad that this is coming down so much on this. I'm not in an Ethereum long. That would be crazy right now because of how high Ethereum is on the Bitcoin chart. So I'm now looking for the Bitcoin pair to come back down here, and I'm looking for the USD pair to come down here, and that's when I'd be interested in buying Ethereum again. Litecoin has hit almost came up to this monthly area and to this trend up here, so we could see another move higher, but ultimately I think that's had a very nice move up as well. So this is kind of hit target, and I was in the long on Litecoin, but was able to take some pretty decent profit on that yesterday, even though Bitcoin's dragging it all down. Litecoin as well is in a little bit of danger of losing this kind of parabolic move that it is on at the moment, but still looks pretty decent in this area. If this can start to put in a range, then that looks good. That's the thing, like everything now has gone from being, okay, this is bullish, this has been a normal correction and this is bullish, to now let's maybe rethink and start to think about, okay, maybe this is going to be a larger range that forms below our previous range now. I think that's fairly similar across the whole market, unless Bitcoin quickly reclaims 42k and shows a sign of strength and gets back above this trend line. That will be when I get more bullish again. So let's go our high up here down to our low. Yeah, nothing interesting there. Let's take this one. So what we did have was from our low yesterday, this trend line lines up quite nicely with the 382 of this pull. We also have, from our initial move down, this speed fan as well, which is still kind of, if we think of this as being the initial dump, and then this has been that grind down afterwards, then yeah, we have this resistance area coming in around here as well. Is it anything green? Let's have a look. RA's green, Acra's green. Yeah. On the BTC pair anyway, Arvo's green. So there are two trades I am in. So I am, yeah, in both of these at the moment. So that means at least I'm getting a little bit more Bitcoin. I'm not in Matic, but yeah, see how that goes. What's the biggest loser? A load of stuff I've never heard of. BZRX is down. But hey, yeah, overall you'd say not awful. The Bitcoin pairs, how are they holding up? Still that same resistance that we've been looking at on this. So let's just have a quick look at the alts. So we're still down below this trend line. And we're still just, yeah, consolidation below resistance. Not that awful in terms of a Bitcoin pair. You would think that after being held down for this amount of time, when it does get a decisive breakout of volume, then yeah, it looks good. At the moment, like, the market looks really awful across the board just because of what's going on in price. But when you actually take a closer look at things and look at the Bitcoin pairs and look at where a lot of assets are that haven't yet had those big moves higher, there's definitely, yeah, definitely decent things still around. This has been a nice reset. EOS, if this can come back down to this weekly, would look good. Yeah, Link came into our resistance yesterday, so we had the 0.5 in the weekly. So again, that's hit target. We were getting bullish on Link all the way down here. I was saying this looks like a breakout, and you've got to remember we've had an 80% plus move up on Link since I was buying this. So that's nice. If you hadn't taken profits on that, then you're crazy. And yeah, RSR, another one that I do like. So again, the Bitcoin chart, just not done anything really. It's just hanging out around here and just following what Bitcoin does for now. This has come onto this monthly level here. So again, if you're thinking of things hitting support and hitting like really nice support, then a lot of stuff is doing it right now. Yeah, and we'll just see how things go from there. Swipe, SXP, holding above previous resistance. So this is holding above here, which is not awful. You could say this could come down to this monthly and still look fine. But yeah, a lot of things looking kind of toppy on the USD pair, which you would expect. A lot of things look like they could roll back over. Yeah. So we're down 6% on the day. We also, the other thing I wanted to mention was we do have this anchored VWAP from our COVID crash low over here. So if we take the anchored VWAP from there, then we have hit that today, and that is the first time that's ever been tested. So yeah, again, that's another nice area of, well, another nice thing to add confluence for support here. If we pull our fibs, you can see we're still on the log scale now within this golden pocket area. And if we're thinking percentage moves, then to get that on the log scale is nice. We were in the linear golden pocket earlier on, but now we've moved on to log. And I don't think there's anything else here. There's not going to be any trend lines or anything, but yeah, it's just yeah, that's kind of it. I'm talking a lot as always, but let's go over anything else. We no longer have So we don't have this bullish divergence on the daily anymore. That's gone. So that would have had to have held 42k for the bullish divergence to have any chance. That's gone now. There's no chance of getting divergence here. But what we are seeing is a really nice, not nice, there's high momentum to the downside at the moment. And if you like this kind of thing, then we are oversold on the RSI for the first time since COVID crash. So this is the first time we've been oversold since the crash back in March last year. What else do we have? 4 hour. Is there any divergence building on this? Yes. So we do have 4 hour divergence, and this is my favorite. This is my favorite thing when we do build 4 hour bullish divergence on both the RSI and the MACD. So we do have this going on. We will lose this divergence if we do not bounce here as well. So this is like last chance again for the 4 hour triple divergence to play out. Every time we've seen this previously, so we did have this down here. This is the last big instance of the 4 hour divergence playing out, where you have the low, the lower low, the lower low, then you have the low, higher low, higher low, low, higher low, higher low on the RSI and MACD. So that is okay. The other thing that we have been doing, which has been really interesting on the 4 hour or even on the hourly, is every time we formed bullish divergence, it's immediately turned into hidden bearish divergence at the highs. So every bit of divergence we got at the lows, the momentum back to the upside was almost like way too much. So people were far too interested in longing, I think, all the way down here. So whereas like we've had these short squeezes previously, this has been a proper long squeeze. Like a lot of people within the market still like trying to buy every single dip, and none of these dips so far have worked. Like I have been buying the dips, but I'm not doing that on leverage, and that's the dangerous thing, is to do this on leverage is when it gets really dangerous. Cool. I have been talking for like half an hour. I think I've kind of gone over everything I would like to on the chart. The other thing we had yesterday, which was interesting, which we don't have anymore, we have now hit the 200 simple moving average, so that is something to be aware of. And if we go onto the TD sequential, then we did have this 9 buy yesterday, which does sometimes work. It's not something I trade off of, but it's interesting to note. And we could say that, yeah, this is maybe just a flush of so many things aligning up at 42k, like everything was aligning up there, and it never happened. So this could then be that final flush, and if we do reclaim that, then yeah, things look better again. Cool. There's nothing else from a technical perspective that I want to look at. Yeah, we're having a little bit of a move up now, so it's, yeah. Yeah, what I'd like to see now is just a sign of strength. We have also our weekly. Sorry, I said this was the daily point of control earlier. It's not. It's our weekly point of control. But we do have weekly naked point of controls coming back in around 50k, and then at 62,800 on the daily we do have naked point of controls above us again, and let's zoom out and see. a long way down to our next one. So we've hit all the points of control from this previous range that are within our support area. And otherwise, yeah, again, we're looking down at the 34 to 30k area. And then you've got all of this nonsense going on down here, which is just the whole move up. But yeah. Previous month point of control. Whoops. Monthly. So we would have our January point of control at 35k as well. So that is to be aware of. We could look at our yearly VWAP. Let's just do this on here. Year VWAP, so we're below the yearly VWAP. Which again, that's really interesting actually how this has reacted. So this isn't something I've been looking at much, but how we got that nice reaction off the yearly VWAP down here, and then we got these rejections off of the yearly VWAP up here. Kind of similar to what we saw earlier on in the year, I guess, where we were below the yearly VWAP for a while and we broke back above it. So let's see if that can get reclaimed. Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna finish up there. Yeah, everyone, I hope that people haven't kind of got too wrecked by all of this. That's the thing, like, you have to ride some of these moves out sometimes. If you're in a short position from up here, this was a really easy short. I'm not in that short position anymore, but if you are still in that, then well done. That's really nice. And again, that's something that I probably would have, under normal circumstances, been doing. But yeah, if you're down here and if you're not over leveraged, then yeah. It's still kind of, for me, I'm in that position where it's I have bought Bitcoin down here, and it's still, for me, think that higher prices are still quite likely in the future. Cool. So yeah, we've either seen like a really amazing buying opportunity today, or we are now going to be a bit of a grind down going forward. But either way, I know we're expecting the bounce here, but again, it's got to happen at some point. So yep, I will see everyone as usual in the Discord. For anyone who, again, if you're not already in the Discord group, please do come and join us. We have, this isn't going to show. Anyway, link is in the comments and in the description below, and I will see everyone over in the chat throughout the day. Cheers, guys. Bye.